Welcome back once again as I take you through on how to sew this dress. I have a video on how to cut it. So as you can see, I want to show you and take you step by step on how to make yours. So let's go ahead to do this. So I come back to you to show you something very important. I told you I don't want to hide anything from you. So anything I realized I forgot to show you, I'll come back to show you. So this is my under bust. So what I do, this is my under bust now. I notch it like this, as I normally do for my princess dart. I notched it like this. This notched now make it to know that okay, this is my side front. It's even here. So this is my notch now. Make you to understand that this is our under bust. So when you want to sew, you place it at this our under bust. That before this shape comes like this part is our under bust. When you want to sew, you place it there. I'm just giving you this notch because after I cut the fabric and place this notch on the fabric without showing you guys, you will be confused on how was I able to sew it. So I just decided to come back to show you that I notched here, and I'll be going back to do that on the fabric. So just take note of that. Thank you. Okay, so time for sewing, time for sewing. So I have my fabrics all cut out with my pattern. So in case you are just coming, as you can see on the thumbnail, off shoulder pieces dress, 6 pieces dress is what I want to do now. In case you have not seen how to get your patterns, go ahead to check the first video I dropped on how to sew, on how to cut rather, on how to cut your patterns. You can see how it looks. So just go ahead. In case you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell and give this video a thumbs up if you find it helpful to you. Don't forget to leave me a thumbs up. So this is my center front that I just opened here in my center front in my notch as I showed you on the cutting video. And this is my side front. Just go ahead to subscribe and click the notification bell, so whenever I post another video, interesting video like this, you see. So let me take off my pattern for my front. This is my pattern for my front. Let me take it out first. So keep my pattern aside. So we are done with the pattern. And this is my back. This is my center back. This is my center back. And this is my side back. So you can see how it looks with flay dress as we are about to make. This is our zip allowance. Also going to keep this aside. So when I was cutting my center back, if you check closely, if you have not seen the video on how to cut, those that have seen will understand what I mean. When I wanted to cut my center back, I went on to place my pattern on the edge that was unfold. So I will have a piece like this to the side that was unfold. So I will have a piece like this. So this is my center back, and you can see the shape. This shape here indicates that this is my waistline. So this is my waistline now. You can see the pattern which I marked out. Let me bring out my side for you to understand what I'm showing you now. You can see when cutting out my flay, I notched this part to tell you that this is my where my half length is. So you can see I went on to put a notch with my scissors. So I did it the same as the fabric here to indicate that this is my waistline, that's my half cut line. So if I want to sew now, I'm going to sew it like this from this line now to this my waistline, sew it downward, then sew from here upward. So you can see my shock here indicates that this is my back side of my fabric. Then I have the same for the front also. So let me show you how to sew your front. So this is our front as I have here now. This is our front, this is our side front, as you may see. This is our side front, and this is the shock I also mark to indicate that it is my side. So like this, then this is my center front. So it'll be like this, my center front. So this notch here, as I told you, indicates my half length. This notch here indicates my under bust, which is from where this curve is starting from. That is what I have here. So when I want to sew, I will know that this is my half point, then sew upward and sew downward. So what I'm going to do about this sewing now, you can see the wrong side of my fabric. You can see the wrong side of my fabric. It is going to be like this. It is going to be placed like this. Then the wrong side of my fabric to be like this. I'm going to place it like this. This is my notch. Then I'm going to sew from here, sew downward. But first of all, I'll take from this my half length. Come down by if you come down by 2 inches from this your notch here, that is your half cut, where your half cut is sitting. So from your half cut, you sew up to this point. Then go ahead to sew this upward. After sewing this, then from there you sew downward. That is the same thing I'm going to do for this side. And you can see the front as I showed you how to do the front. That's what I'm going to do. So let me go ahead to sew it, then I'll come back to you. Okay, so time for ironing. In case you are not working with fabric that you are going to use lining, make sure you interlock your cloth, so that it won't look rough. Make sure you interlock, weave, or what is it called again? So let me go ahead to iron it before I start cracking my brain. Serging. It's either you interlock, you weave, or you serge it. Those are the words I know about. So I have weaved or interlock or serge, any of those which you know. That is what I did on my fabric. So you can see me trying to iron it. So this is what I'm expecting you to also to make sure you work with iron, because it gives your work a very nice look and good finishing. And some people are talking of finishing of their clothes that they don't know how to finish clothes. It simply means these simple things like your serging or weaving, as you may know it, and your ironing. If you are not ironing as you're working, you're supposed to be working with iron also. If you are not working with iron, your work will not be neat. Even if it is beautiful, it will not be neat. So make sure you do follow these steps, because as a professional, you're supposed to be working with your iron often. Anything you sew, you iron to make sure everything is flat. When the works are even neat, like when they are in place with your iron, once you use your iron, it makes your work even easier for you to follow. Instead of you to continue sewing without ironing, after sewing everything before you iron, that is very, very wrong. Please, if you have been doing that, make sure you try your best to adapt to the ironing form. No matter what you are using to iron, make sure you always iron. Try your best to do that for your work to be nice. So you can see what I'm trying to do. This is my bust area. I have a video coming up also to show you how to make your ball. This is how to iron with your ball. So don't worry, I have a video coming to show you how to iron your breast ball. This is your bust ball. This is how you iron it for it to come out nice. So let me go ahead to do the other parts without wasting much of your time the same way. Okay, so here is my front, and I want to mark out my neck and my armhole. You can see my bust. I place it on fold. So this is what the unfold looks like after placing it on fold. You know, our measurement was from 4 inches. We started marking our lines, and the depth of the neck depth of what she wants is 9 inches, because I took her measurement. Make sure you always take your measurement for your neck depth. So how deep she wants it to be, it's 9 inches. Then my shoulder, let me mark out my shoulder measurement. because I'm still going to trim out. This is my 14, this is my 15 is my shoulder measurement. That is what I have here. And -4. Let me terminate this so you don't get confused on how to go about this. So these ones are not included because these are the excess that came out after I've sewn it. So how to get your bust measurement, how to get your armhole measurement is your bust divided by 6. Your bust divided by 6. My bust is 35 divided by 6 plus 1.5. 35 divided by 6 divided by 6 plus 1.5. So my bust here divided by 6 plus 1.5 gives me 9. So minus this 4 now, I'm going to place it at this 9 here. This is what I have as my bust. So this is what I have as my armhole. So what I'm going to do now is to connect this to get my armhole. Since it is an off shoulder, I'm going to try my best to bring out my curve like this. She does not want it too low. So like this is okay, will be okay for her. Like this will be okay for her. A round shoulder is 45. 45 divided by 2 give me 42.5. Sorry, 22.5. 45 divided by 2 give me 22.5. So here's my 22.5 for my front. So my 22.5 divided by 2 again will give me 11.2. Say 11.2. Let me see what I have here. 11.2. So I'm supposed to have this 4.5. It is going like this, you can see 11.2 because I will still join ½ inch to this one here for my other part of my shoulder. So it goes like this. Goes like this for my off shoulder. So my bust measurements, make sure you're always careful with your what you're using. Because of this tutorial, I'm using this chalk. I'm not supposed to use this because you can see how it stains the fabric, but if you wash it, it will go off your fabric. So my bust divided by 4 give me 11.25. So I have my 11.25 here. So this is my 11.25 which I have here. So what is left here is my sewing allowance for my waist. My waist is 37 divided by 4 give me 9.25. So I have my 9.25 here. 9.25 for my waist. 9.25. That's what I have here. So it is going to be just like this. You know, this lycra material is somehow stretchy, stretches a bit. So this is how it goes. So let me go ahead to cut out my neck for my back, my front rather. So this is how I'll do just to cut out my neck for my front. So I want to take note of something. I will not cut this yet at this point that I mark. I'm going to cut it here after I have sewn my facing, because I'm going to include an inner facing on it as my lining in the form of turning up. I'm going to add something like that in the form of turn up to give me a good finish at this edge. So you can see how it off looks like. You can see our breast point where it's going to pass through. So come over to my back, and I'm going to place my back the same way I did for my front. But in the case of this back, I'm going to use my front to get my back. And all I want to do is to make sure they sit equally. So I'm going to place it just like this. So make sure places equally. You can see my measurement is starting from this up, because here's the upper part from from the center front and your center back. That is where you take your measurements from to get your calculation. So what I'm going to do now is to place my front on my back, just like this. So you can see what I have here. Try to place it like this. So what I minus here was 9 at the back. So minus 4, 9. This is where I took my cutting from, 9 here. So my front is going to sit exactly at that part. So you can see my zip allowance at this other part for my back. So here, this space that is left here is my zipper allowance. After spreading it like this, you can see from this part now you can decide to terminate your bulge at your back, because you can, if you take a close look at what is here now, this part is wider than this part. You are going to make this part equal to this part. So if you remove a shock now, you will see that there is an excess that you will take out from there. So that will totally terminate your bulge at the zipper line. So if you are following my way of cutting, when you place it like this, that gives you an upper hand on how to terminate that. So at this note, I want to make my back and my front equally. That is what I want to achieve right now. I want to make the back of the front and the back to be equal. That is what I'm trying to achieve right now. So you can see what I have here. Where to cut out my armhole just like this. That is that for the back. So what do I have here? I'm supposed to have 1.5 for my sewing allowance. 1.5 for my sewing allowance, which I kept. I'm supposed to have 1.5 for my sewing allowance. So here is my 1.5. 1.5. So I'm still going to trim off this excess here. Make sure you pay close attention to what I'm trying to do here. Cut off this excess here, just like this. I have my 1.5 there now. In this point, I'm going to have more than 1.5. So at this note here, you can connect it like this. This will totally terminate your bulge at the back. But what I will do, I'm going to sew it first before doing that. So I will come over to that part later on. Let me go ahead to trim out my zip allowance. So my zipper allowance is what I want to get out now from this. So I will make sure my fabrics are equal, because when working you don't want to make any silly mistake or errors. Make sure your fabric, your center front, make sure your center back is equal before you cut out your zip allowance, so you don't run into short of fabric that you'll later regret making such error. So make sure you place it like this. This is a how will I say it? This fabric is crepe fabric, so it stretches a bit. It's a crepe fabric. If you want to use your lining, there is a lining that is called, is it poly lining? I think something like that, that you can use to put on your crepe fabric as in form of a lining. But where I stay, it is very difficult to find that kind of lining. It is not in my area, so you will see I'm not going to use lining because I will not find that. But if in your area, if you have anything like that, you can go ahead to use it. Make sure before you before you sew, make sure you cut your lining exactly the way you cut your main fabric, but it should be shorter below your hip region down, but not full. If you want it full, you can also make it full. So I come over to the pattern which I want to use to cut out my front and my back. So from here, I'm also going to get my sleeve, the size for my sleeve. From here, I'm going to get my sleeve. So I will be very careful on how I cut out my pieces so I don't run short of fabric. So what I will do is to cut out my front and my back, but I'm going to pay close attention to my fabric to see if I have at least the least out of it, because you need to make use of your fabric in a very delicate way so you don't get short of fabric. So what I'm trying to do now is to place my up. I'm trying to get my lining for my up, for the upper part. So I'm trying to see if I find any good one that will match or fit rather. So that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm showing you all the processes you need to pass through for you to achieve this. I think this won't be enough. This won't be enough. Let me take a look at this. This will be enough, but there is a but there. I was expecting it to come down a bit. That was my initial plan, to come down a bit. But I don't think I'll go with this. So let me try my best to arrange my fabric before coming to show you what to do so you don't get confused. So what I did now was to cut out my interfacing as I told you. You can see how it looks. I cut it out, my lining for my upper parts, to turn it over. So this is how I cut it. So what you are going to do is either you serge it round or you fold your down edge. So what I'm going to do now is to fold it. You see my double piece for the back. This is what I have for my back. You can see I just place it on my fabric. I used to cut it, place it on fold to cut it. So I have two pieces because it is the back, and I have one piece for this for the front. So let me go ahead to sew, then come back to show you what next to do. This note, I have sewn my facing on my main fabric, and I have top stitch on the lining. You should know how to do your top stitching by now if you have been following me. So what I'm going to do next is to sprinkle water, because I'm going to use my hemming gun to firm my interfacing with my main fabric. This is my turn up which I have, going to make sure it is firm. So you can see me sprinkling water on the fabric. So that is very vital when you want your fabric to smooth or to lie flat or to lay flat. Make sure you use your water to be able to assist you in achieving that. So that is what I'm going to do now. So you can see how I'm pressing it so it lies. You can see this is the bust area. This is very difficult to achieve when it comes to ironing, because I cut my bust point to have that shape, and this is just a plain fabric going across it. So this will take time for me to achieve that aim of making this fabric that is not cut off to be able to fit in. So with time and with patience, you can be able to achieve that. So in case you have not subscribed to my channel again, please go ahead to click on the notification bell after subscribing, because I know you will subscribe. So go ahead to click the notification bell after subscribing, so you'll be able to receive notification whenever I post new video, because I do post video anytime I have anything to do. So you will see a lot of my video I've been posting. I don't have a specific time of posting. I can decide to rest, and I can decide to post for the whole week, even for the whole month. I can decide to post each and every day. I can decide to post 2 a day, 3 a day. It depends on how I feel like to post, because this is what I love doing. So I don't want to create a specific date on what to do, because I may not meet up those date and that I promised that I'll be dropping things. So what I'm going to do next after you see me, after doing that, so you can see how this looks like. So I will try my best to make sure, but it is going to be difficult though. But I'll try my best to see if I will be able to put my hemming gun for this to also be flat with the lining inward. So if you are using your main fabric, as I told you before, if you are using lining, make sure you cut everything. It's going to give you difficulties, just like what I want to achieve right now. So what I'm going to do now, I'm trying my best to put my hemming gum there inward, just like this, then gum to make sure it sits. Before, let me just go off camera to try my best to bring out what I'm telling you, then come back. I have successfully gummed my hemming gum with my fabric together with my turn up, the material which I cut out for my turn up, that I have successfully gummed them together. So you can see it is now gummed together. Make sure you sprinkle a lot of water to do that for it to be firm. So you can see what I want to do now is to cut out my zipper allowance. So all I'm going to do is to spread it this way, because I always told you when you want to sew your zipper, before you mark your line, make sure the lines which you mark is at the exact form that you are going to sew it. So in this form that I just turned it into, this is the form I'm going to sew my zipper line that I'm going to mark right now. So I'm going to sew that line straight down before I fix my zip. So this is my line which I want to cut. So what I'm going to do now is to draw with my chalk. I draw a straight line. You can see, so this is the area we are talking about the bulging of our zip. So you can see how it came in. So when marking your back, make sure you follow this one that goes in. You follow it like this to mark out your line for your zip. So this totally terminates that bulging at your back. So go ahead to follow the instructions like that. Just mark downward and sew. So what I'm going to do now is to sew out this zip line, sew from here downward. So let me go ahead to do that. I have closed my back, my zipper allowance. I have sewed it closed, and I went on to iron it. So you can see how it looks very nice, and you can see how flay this is. You can see how nice the flay is at the back. It is perfectly fine, perfectly fine. If you want yours fuller, you can go ahead to do the way we did for the pattern, the first one we used. So you can see how the front looks like. This is very beautiful, very, very beautiful. I'm not done yet, but I can see the beauty of it. So I will go ahead now to fix my zip at the back before I join the sides. So let me go ahead to do that. So that is that. I have gone ahead to fix my zip and I have joined the side. So you can see my side. After getting my bust, I was able to get my, because you still need to take your measurements. After you have pinned your fabric, you still need to take your bodice measurement. So you can see the shape which I got after getting my measurement. This is my waist, so you can see how the shape comes out, and you can see how the cloth, how it flays, to tell you how it will look when she puts it on. So what I'm going to do next is to trim what I told you when showing you on the pattern. I told you that there is an excess that will come out because of the way you were able to cut it. So what I'm going to do is to blend all these edges like this. To blend them. If possible, look for a good space to spread your fabric for it to be able to achieve that. I don't want to cut much of this so that I don't get short of fabric. You know, we are working based on measurements. So if I go ahead to trim it to be equal with the other part, I will end up having my fabric to be short. So it is better I cut like this. Since it is flay, it won't affect the length between the back and the front. It won't affect anything. All you will be seeing is flay. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm connecting, trying to blend my flay So you can see what I'm doing. So I'm done doing that. So you can see how it looks like. Let me spread it. But if you want to still cut it straight, you can still cut it straight. This thing is tempting me to cut it. I'm not sorry. Let me see if it is not much, then I'll go ahead to cut it off. This thing is much. It is much. So let me just trim a bit. I don't want to trim or what. I don't have any option. Let me just trim a bit of this. Just like this. So you can see what I'm doing. So that is that. This other part is okay. Let me cross check it. Let me cross check this other part. Let me still do the same at this part here. So you can see what I have right now. So my dress formally is out. My dress is out. So what I'm going to do is the sleeve, but I still want to show you how it looks at this other part. So you can see how it looks. I'm still going to put it on the mannequin, but you can see time has gone already. So I might do that tomorrow to put it on the mannequin for you to see. So what I'm going to do next is to trim off my armhole. So my round shoulder is 45. As I told you, my shoulder measurement is 45. 45 divided by 2 will give me 22.5. 22.5, that's what I have here. So trying to calculate my 22. Let me see what I have. 22.5. Supposed to have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what do I have here? Trying to see something. 8. So what do I have here? 3 inches, 1.5 here. 1.5 here. Trying to see something. Please bear with me. Trying to see some calculation on how to get my armhole curve. That's what I'm trying to apply here. Looking for just creating this formula to see if it will work out. 22.5 divided by 2 give me 11.22.5. Remember, it is 45 divided by 2. 22.5 divided by 2 will give me 11.25. So my 11.25 is going to sit at the middle here. 11.25 sit at the middle here. So what do I have? Is my 1.5 coming? Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Look at my 1.5 here. Perfect. Let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. And how I was able to get, let me just show you what I did now. Now I was able to get my full measurement. So you know my full measurement is 45 divided by 2 gives me 22.5. So I was able to get from this end here, just like this. This is my 22.5, which I have here. And what I'm supposed to have for my sleeve is 4 inches to complete the joining. So if I'm having 4 and it is unfold, if I am having 4 unfold, so 4 here plus the other 4 here is 8. What I did now from this 22.5, now I was able to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And what I got here was 14.5. And I gave a mark of 14.5 there. And from this, my 14.5 to this end, I was able to cross check. What do I have here? I have 3 inches. So these 3 inches that I have here, I'm not divided by 2. It now gives me 1.5. So I now place 1.5 here and 1.5 at this other part. So after placing my 1.5 at other part, my round circumference, I come again, my round circumference is 45 divided by 2 gives me 22.5. So I'm supposed to have 22.5 at this other part with my 4 inches included for my sleeve. So that 22.5 now divided by 2. Divided by 2 give me 11.25. So my 11.25 and now place it at the center, at the make sure it is placed at the middle of this 11.25. So after placing it like this, I was able to calculate 1 2 3 4, and it ended at that my point which I have my 1.5. Now I also calculated here 1 2 3 4, and this also is sitting at that 1.5 which I have there. So the calculation is very easy and very nice. I thank God I just come across this idea of doing this. So when you are cutting your fabric, you need to also, I always tell you, you need to think fast, be creative, you need to think fast. So I'll go ahead to cut, but before I cut, I want to keep an allowance of ½ inch, because that ½ inch now is to join the other one to this one. If I make it this far, after joining, I don't know if this might short. It is better after joining everything, it is free, so now I will be able to adjust it, than to join it that it is too tight and there is no way to free it. Hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So I'm including ½ inch, which I have here. So that ½ inch for my joining, connect it down to this point. So at this other point, so I'm also going to include my ½ inch for joining. It is as easy and as simple as ABC. So I'm just going to also include this and cut it off just like this. So this is perfect. This is perfect. I can feel it. It looks as if I'm the one that owns this dress. I can feel the beauty of this dress. The beauty is on the air. I can feel it. So let me go ahead to bring my fabric to show you how to cut the sleeve which I want to use for this. So just wait, let me go ahead to bring my fabric. So this is my leftover fabric. In case you are just you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. I keep reminding you, don't forget to subscribe, please, please, please. That's your subscription, and give this video a thumbs up if you find it helpful, because your comment and your thumbs up and your share keeps increasing my chance of producing new videos every week. So this is my leftover fabric, and I want to get 2 sleeves for this. So you can see the sleeve on the thumbnail. That is what I'm trying to achieve right now. So what I'm going to do now is to split this into 2. This does not have calculation, because I'm trying to get my sleeve using this fabric. Let me see what I have left here, because it is going to gather at the up part and at the lower part. So what I have here is 15.25. So 15.25, I believe that's the same 15.25 that should be at the other part. So what I'm going to do next is to minus 1.5 inch. 1.5 inch, because I'm going to fold 1 inch here, ½ inch here, ½ inch here. So 1.5 inch. So I'll minus 1.5 inch from this part like this. 1.5 inch, just like this. 1.5 inch is being minus from this up. So from this down part, I'm going to let me see what I have for my dress. So this is my dress that I have here right now. This is my dress. And what do I have for my armhole? I want to see the calculation I have for my armhole. I have 5.25. Okay, 5.5. 5.5. That is what I have for my armhole. So what I'm going to do here now is to get 5.5. Before I get my 5.5, let me go ahead to minus my 0.5 inch that I'm going to use for my sewing allowance. So this is my opening for my fabric. So I need 5.5 here. So what I'm going to do is to cross check it like this to get my 5.5. So this is my 5.5 that I already have here. This is another way of, because I want my gathers to come out from this side, so I don't want to take much. If not, I would have go in like this. I don't want it. Should I come in like this? Okay, let me just do it like this. I want my gathers to be able to come out better. So I have my 5.5 here. From minusing this line, because I will still fold this, that I'm going to put elastic here, and at this down part I'm also going to put elastic there. So after getting my 5.5 now, just to connect it straight to this point like this, connect it like this. This half inch is for my sewing allowance. So all I'm going to do now is to get my armhole cut out like this. I might not show you how to do this, but you should know that you are going to fix this on your shoulder after folding this in like this and put your elastic. You're still going to fold this down to put your elastic. I'm still going to do the same thing at this other sleeve. So I'm just trying to show you. Make sure when working with your fabric, you are working with the wrong side of your fabric. That is very important for you to know. This fabric is very difficult to find your wrong parts, but I'm able to see them. Anyhow it wants to hide, I will find you and I'll see you, fetch you out. So this is my wrong side. You can see I just found my wrong side. So make sure you are working on your wrong side of your fabric so that your shock will appear on the wrong side, so it does not appear on the right side. Hope I'm making sense or making brain. Just go ahead to do it like that. Excuse me. So what I'm going to do now is to cut this also. So hope you see what I did. I used from this, the first one I calculated, to place on the second one to make it easier for me to cut, so I don't go and calculate again and get two different something. Since I already have what I wanted at this other sleeve, I go ahead to replicate it and place it on top of the second sleeve to get. I hope I am not too fast. I hope I am ministering very well. So that is what you are going to do now. So let me go ahead to sew it, and you might see it on the mannequin because, okay, let me come show you something again. Don't forget to fold this down. I know some might think I want to leave it like this. I'm still going to fold it. I told you on the pattern that I'm going to sew here. So I kept my allowance for sewing this down part. So I'm going to use that allowance which I kept to fold this in so that everything will look sweet and nice, just like orange juice. So I'll go ahead to do this on this sleeve as I just told you. So just stay tuned and see what I'm going to do. I don't want to left you out on this. So you can see I went on to make sure my skirt is equal. So I went on to spread it open, all wide open, and trim out. No, I told you I told you to just trim the edge there, but you know, after doing that it won't look nice. So I changed my mind to go ahead to blend everywhere to be equal and straight. So I don't want to do this off camera without showing you, so that for beginners they don't go and follow it to do the same way I did before without knowing that I went on to change that pattern. So just go ahead to make sure your lines are all straight the way it should be. Then you sew all your lines when you put it on, or your client put it on, all your lines at the down part will be equal. There will be no one coming up or down to give you give it a good finish. For it to look professionally, you need something like to make it good. So I don't know if I will be able to show you the picture, but I hope I get the picture earlier to show you how it looks after everything. So thank you once again. I really appreciate you for coming, learning with me. I really appreciate you. I want to thank all of you for subscribing. We have been growing so fast. It is unimaginable. I can't imagine how long we have come, how long we have come from where we have come from. How long I can't imagine. I just want to say thank you for your support, for your courage, for your encouragement, for your contributions. Thank you. As always, stay safe and remain blessed. Oh, this video just looks as if we should not end. Oh my, I so much love this dress. I thank God so far. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you. Don't forget to subscribe, oh, please.